next presentation I went to was put on by Chisholm. They had received funding to do a project to engage their staff in bringing them up to 21st century teaching. And the way they did that, they actually created a Moodle shell. And in that Moodle shell was step by step and a way a teacher could assess where they're at and how to progress in their learning. And there was provision there for them to access help. And it was really done so well. And she presented it so well. And she found that there were so many teachers wanting to do it, they didn't worry about the people who didn't want to do it. It just keeping up with everyone that wanted to engage in it. We've got a copy of that shell, which we're going to customise, and it'll be available for all staff. So I think it's really worth having a look at. It's very straightforward how it works and really engaging. So look forward to that one to come.
Now, we chose Moodle as a launching pad to present into, and we presented third-party resources in Moodle. Now, we really looked at, took a very simple approach. We looked at two products, the Catapult products and the Cengage E products, and we looked at how a teacher will go about organising for that product to be purchased and put into their shell, so a bit about the knowledge about that. And we also looked at the pros and cons of those systems. So we highlighted things such as, you know, you can't leave an ebook alone in there. You've got to actually facilitate the learning yet again. And again, with products such as Catapult, we talked about using the Catapult as a backup, enhancing the delivery, not letting the self-paced type approach drive the outcomes of e-learning. But to actually embrace some of the other tools within Moodle, such as forums and discussions, and use them properly. We started to get some, I say some traction in this area, but I don't think we fully explored what we can do. What was interesting about our presentation is that the publishers came. So we talked about Cengage, they heard their name. We talked about Catapult, they heard their name. I had a phone call from Catapult, or we talked with Catapult staff afterwards, and I've since had a phone call with Cengage thanking them for the presentation because it's actually meant that they close a deal with a client. There were some good questions asked by the audience, and this is one thing that I think has come up consistently with our students. I can't take it home. So I think the developers and designers of these products are quite aware of that as an issue. How do you sell a product to a student that doesn't have an outcome? You know, $20 to get online, but you don't get to take anything home except what's in your brain. So they're looking at, Catapult, for example, are looking at producing a PDF of the student's work and the content at the end of the course. So we will have something for them to take away. It was fun. We had a ball.
Hi. A couple of the presentations that I went to were the gamification, and then there was two of them actually, and they both reinforced really the same thing, that games make learning fun, and by providing the theory behind what a game does, reaching different levels and personal achievement is a better way of doing our assessments rather than making people feel threatened by assessments. Making it fun, making it a game, we're going to get better results because students are going to be feeling more relaxed and take it on board and produce a better result. So that was one of the things I got from that one, and different ways of producing games.
The next presentation that Christine and I attended, and we attended this together, although our ideas were to go to separate presentations, was with Open to Study. Now, Open to Study is the Open University's massive open online course brand, MOOC, and I started my first attempt at a MOOC with Open to Study quite some time ago and studied writing for the web, which I found absolutely invaluable for my role. And at the moment I'm studying for user experience. And again, that kind of opportunity to have an engagement with the guys that developed this platform was fantastic, because we found out a few things. We found out there was Moodle. We use this vanilla out of the box Moodle that really hasn't been heavily invested in. we've got a logo, but Moodle is just such a powerful piece of software that can be designed in many, many, many ways. And again, Open to Study really showed us what can happen with that. They really talked about their trials and how it went. They've had massive uptake of this product and how it's going, but they're really into looking at the benchmarking of how many people who attempt the Open to Study brand actually convert to courses in either the Open University's brand online or at the actual institutions that run those products. So I'm not sure if you know that Open Universities Australia runs courses online. We don't actually have a relationship with them, but GOTAFE, for example, do with their alcohol and other drugs. So they offered these tasters or taster courses. I sent an email out recently to all staff showing them the system and that it was coming up for a new run of enrolments, and I've had so many emails back and people are really enjoying this concept of learning. I think we've all learnt a lot about how to design our courses, the short, sharp, sweet videos, clear ways of actually quizzing yourself if you actually understood it, so making sure that there's been some cognition. But the other things we've learnt really from Open to Study has been how they have imported the accessibility standards, things like having the text alternative for your video, and also just the ease of the navigation. It's just really, really simple. So it was good to know it was Moodle. It's good to know what can be done, and I'd like to see some more investment in our product. I think the conference close was quite interesting. It was done by a fellow called Charles Severance. They call him Dr. Chuck. Now, he's been in IT and education since the year dot. Realistically, he was not a super young man, but he's not a super old man. And he basically kept trying to do things all the way through his working career, and when people said no, he quit. And quitting led him to some interesting opportunities that meant that he had to start his own learning management system up, because he basically couldn't get people to become interested in learning management systems. So he really was in at the forefront trying to get people involved. He was at the forefront of discussing modems and internets and education and how this could be used, publishing online, what it might mean in learning and teaching. But he came in to talk about open education resources, which is still a passion of his, and the future of the publishing companies. And I think that the big finale that he gave us was a video that a colleague of his that had been involved in learning management systems and headed up this group of professors that discuss this. He put together some predictions of what it would look like in 2020, and as you know, we're only 7 years away, and he did those predictions in 1993, and gee, it was pretty close. So I challenge anyone to sit down and who really knows their field and really do some predictions about where you're going to go to in the future and where you see it being. Because there's two things that happen when you do that. You either steer your field in the direction that you think it needs to be going, or you are aware of where it's going and you have the ability to take advantages of where it's going. Good practice for anyone and good fun.